first pride is just the sense of belonging that I got, the feeling safe to just be myself, and hadn't felt that way for many years. So
it is a lot of fun, but it's also very empowering, and it feels like at that moment you really are a part of this world. You belong.
Today, it's so easy to be open and out versus back then when you didn't dare open your mouth.
Yeah, I grew up thinking from a very, very early age that I'm different.
it was very, very lonely.
Can you describe that if you feel comfortable?
No, not without crying, I can't, so.
I think Stonewall, to me, was the critical point during which the gay community actually finally became together and started being a community. It was the first time that they really stood up to the police and fought back.
The media back then was not open to all the different things that make up humanity. Stonewall wasn't put on the radio or TV or any of that.
I was married, had a child at that time because I was going to be straight the rest of my life. And you're right, it didn't make the papers or anything.
I didn't hear about Stonewall till maybe 10 years later when I was out here, and it was a pride thing. It came up during Pride.
And let's not forget to give credit to who was fighting in Stonewall. It wasn't necessarily lesbian and gay men. It was transgendered people and drag queens, and they did not become accepted by us for a long time. So they gave us a gift that we did not reciprocate immediately. And as wonderful as life is right now, that dark side is still there, still wanting to take something back.
And it's trying to take it back from the same people you were talking about, the transgender people, drag queens.
You know, I think that's why it's so important that we remain as flamboyant as we are. That people cannot push us aside anymore and make us irrelevant and pass laws that affect us without us saying or doing anything.
I love that. That was good. Am I flamboyant enough?
Yes, you are.
Since the time of Stonewall, how have you watched the world evolve, and how have you seen yourself evolve with it?
Right. I have no problems talking to people about gay things and gay rights or pride or things. And most of the people I talk to are straight. It doesn't really matter. It's just we're part of the world now.
It's unbelievable to grow up at the time that I did, and it's unbelievable to see how many parents I know today that support this. But I know there's a whole lot of lives being saved today that were lost, that would have been lost 20 years ago, 30 years ago. And I'm incredibly grateful for that.
The world is a completely different place, and I'm still catching my balance. You know, it's moving so fast.
So you all sent in these pictures of your younger self. What would you say to that kid that's in the picture?
They're lying to you. There's nothing wrong with you at all.
It's going to take time, but it definitely gets better.
Hope for the future, that there's a lot of love out there and you have to let it in. Give it out and you'll get it back tenfold.
You have the right to make your own decisions no matter what anybody else tells you. Just keep yourself safe. Oh, and Apple's going to go public in 1980. Buy some stock.
A big thank you to Phil Wade, Cheryl Evermore, Kenneth Feltz, and Miriam Swihart for their vulnerability and sharing. As we enter the final days of Pride Month, it's important to remember that everything we see and have today, the rights we previously mentioned, all of the public celebrations, the allies who continually show their love and support would not be possible without the fight put up by the generations that came before us.
You used Stonewall as a reference point more than 50 years ago, but those four, they hadn't met until you put this together.
That was the first time they sat down with each other, but it was the changes they've seen throughout the decades that really seemed to bond them so quickly.
And I'm glad you took us all the way back to Stonewall, because I think, people are like, oh, well, this is 2023 and discrimination, oppression doesn't exist. It's kind of the same thing, with racism. segregation was still a thing in the 1960s. This was just 50 or 60 years ago. This wasn't hundreds of years ago that you couldn't live your true self.
The Stonewall Riots in 1969 were definitely a catalyst for LGBTQ+ rights. And it's understandable that we look to the future, we talk to future leaders. But it's so important that as we do that, we don't forget upon whose backs we are building this future on.